Alright, welcome back. It kind of got cut off toward the end, but I'm going to pick up with Dwight Eisenhower and continue on my list of the top 10 strongest presidents of the U.S. So, like I was saying, Dwight Eisenhower was a man, and everybody knows he was a supreme Allied commander in the European front of World War II. But he was as strong on the battlefield and logistics as he was strong with diplomacy, and he continued the same strength during his time as president. One of the few that go directly from general to president. Now, the civil rights issues and he handled everything effectively. The infrastructure, the diplomacy of the Cold War, and the high tensions. He handled it all extremely well. I mean, he was very popular, and he deserved the popularity he got. And Eisenhower was definitely a man that every American could get behind. And that's why he was on number 7. And now number 6 was another popular president. Well, he was really old when he became president. And it was Ronald Reagan. Everybody loves Reagan, especially nowadays. Probably the strongest president we've had in the last 50 or so years. You got the Reaganomics. You got how he handled the air traffic controller strike, and his foreign diplomacy. He handled the last decade of the Cold War. We handled everything with class and peace through strength. And the American First agenda that he had, everybody got behind the war on drugs. Yes, we had those conflicts during his time too, but he handled everything, even though terrorism did strike us with him. He fought back and he handled everything. He struck back. But then number 5 would be Thomas Jefferson. He bought and doubled the size of our country through the Louisiana Purchase, which was a great American steal, if you would, or a great American buy. He bought it from the French, the Louisiana Purchase. It's all the western states, and because of it, although Hawaii would be annexed later during William McKinley, as well as Alaska was annexed from Russia in 1868 under Sewell. Well, Jefferson not only did that, but he projected strength in his own ways. And even though the times were rough, especially being a young country, he was overall a great president. Now, there's one of my favorite ones at number 4. Probably one of the strongest presidents we've ever had. And you could negotiate him in different places, but it was kind of hard between him and Jefferson and FDR. But Theodore Roosevelt, or Teddy, though he didn't like being called Teddy. I mean, he was a man with many hats. But as a U.S. president, I mean, he showed force. And, as his quote was, "Speak softly but carry a big stick." And that's how he lived his life. He was a hard charger, larger-than-life president who, in every crisis he had as president, he stepped up to the plate and handled it carefully. I mean, we got the Panama Canal, which wasn't really a crisis, but in a way it was. But that led to a lot of great things. I mean, the conservation, and then even the Great White Fleet, which he dispatched in 1902, and he dispatched that route as a show of force, and through that, he was able to barter and keep the Japanese and Russians from going to war. But then also, in the whole progressive agenda back then of innovations and inventions, and he helped steer America through it. But also, he was a law and order guy. I mean, his predecessor got assassinated, so he officially established the Secret Service. And it was different, but he made sure that the assassin got the execution. I mean, he is everything, and anything. I mean, the Boy Scout. I mean, if you ask over his life, I mean, the Rough Rider, police commissioner, the man fought political corruption his whole entire life and came out top. They couldn't stop him. Now, FDR, Great Depression, World War II, though a crippled man by polio, he still led this nation, which was crippled by the Depression. And he led us through it and through World War II. I know he bullied his way to 4 terms, but he's still a great president. Number 2, George Washington. It's kind of a toss-up between him and Abe Lincoln because the magnitude of what those two accomplished is just so great. It's hard to put anything on par. I mean, Washington was a very well-respected man globally and throughout his whole nation. The only unanimously elected president in history. Abe Lincoln, I mean, the Great Emancipation Proclamation. I mean, the Civil War was declared even before he got elected president. I mean, nations were already separating before he was sworn in as president. And his predecessor was the weakest president. But Abe Lincoln showed strength and courage. And even through personal tragedy, still led our nation through its tragedy. And he brought this country back together in the Cold War, even though he was slain on a martyr for this nation. Only 5 days after the surrender at Appomattox. Alright, that's it for my list. Oh, honorable mentions. Obviously, Donald Trump. I know we just got off his first term. We don't know if he'll have a second term. But America first. He got us to be economically independent, feel independent. I mean, there's a lot of things he's done that are great. William McKinley. I mean,